It was supposed to be a weekend getaway, just four friends looking to escape the chaos of their busy lives. Emily, Jake, Sarah, and Alex had rented a small cabin deep in the woods near Hollow Hill, a quiet area known for its serene nature trails and starry nights. The perfect place to unplug and reconnect. But what they didn't know was that the cabin had a history that was about to catch up with them. The sun had just set as they unloaded their bags from the car. The cabin looked charming enough. Rustic and cozy, nestled at the base of a steep hill. The woods around them seemed endless, the trees looming like silent sentinels. The air was crisp, and the chirping of crickets filled the evening silence. "This place is amazing," Sarah said, breathing in the fresh air. "I can't believe we almost canceled because of those silly rumors." Alex shrugged. "You mean the stories about this place being haunted? Please, those are just ghost stories." Jake grinned. "Exactly. Ghosts don't scare me. As long as we've got Wi-Fi and a fridge full of beer, we're good." But Emily felt a slight unease, though she couldn't quite place why. She had heard the rumors too, about strange disappearances in the area and how the woods were said to be cursed. But, like the others, she dismissed them as mere folklore. They settled in, playing cards, telling stories, and enjoying the warmth of the fire they'd built in the stone fireplace. The night wore on, and the cabin grew quieter. After a while, Emily began to feel that strange sensation again, as if something was watching them from the woods. She shook it off and joined in with the others when Jake suggested they head outside to look at the stars. The night sky was breathtaking, the stars glittering like diamonds against a velvet backdrop. They stood on the porch, enjoying the view, when Alex pointed toward the woods. "Hey, is that a light?" he asked, squinting into the darkness. "It looks like someone's out there." The others looked, but all they saw were shadows and trees. The light, if it had been there, had vanished. "Probably just a firefly or something," Jake said, taking a sip of his drink. "Let's not get freaked out over nothing." But Emily couldn't shake the feeling. She felt drawn to the woods, as if something were calling her. "Maybe I'll take a walk," she said, half joking. "Get some fresh air." Sarah, concerned, gave her a questioning look. "You sure you want to go out there alone, Em? The woods look kind of creepy at night." Before Emily could respond, a strange sound echoed from the forest. A low, mournful whisper, like a breeze through the trees, but more deliberate. The others fell silent, looking toward the dark line of trees. Emily's unease deepened. "I don't know," she said, shaking her head. "Maybe not." "We should all stick together," Alex said. "There's something about the way the wind's blowing tonight that feels wrong." They decided to head back inside, but as they turned to go in, they heard it again. This time, it was unmistakable. A voice, clear as day. "Help me!" The group froze. The voice had come from deep within the woods, barely audible but undeniably real. "Did you hear that?" Sarah asked, her voice tight with fear. "Yeah," Jake said, frowning. "I did, but it could be anyone. Someone lost, maybe." "But we're miles from the nearest house," Emily pointed out, her heart beginning to race. "There's no way anyone should be out there." Without thinking, they found themselves grabbing flashlights and heading toward the trees drawn by the voice. The forest was eerily quiet now, the usual sounds of wildlife absent. The wind had died down completely, leaving an unnerving stillness. They walked in silence, their footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of leaves. The deeper they ventured into the woods, the more the air seemed to grow heavy, as if something was pressing down on them. The voice came again, faint but clearer this time. "Please, help." "Someone's out there," Alex whispered. "We have to find them." Suddenly, the beam of Sarah's flashlight landed on something. A figure. It was a woman, pale and gaunt, standing motionless against a tree, her eyes wide with fear. "Hey!" Jake called, rushing forward. "Are you okay?" The woman didn't respond. Her mouth moved, but no words came out. She seemed frozen, as if trapped in place by an invisible force. Emily stepped forward cautiously, feeling an inexplicable connection to the woman. As she reached out to touch her arm, the woman's face twisted in an expression of pure terror. Her eyes locked onto Emily's, and for a split second, Emily saw something horrific. A dark, swirling void behind the woman's gaze, a feeling of despair that washed over her like a wave. But before Emily could pull away, a gust of wind howled through the trees, snapping branches, and the woman vanished, disappearing into thin air. Did anyone else see that? Sarah gasped. What the hell just happened? Alex muttered, looking around wildly. Emily stood frozen, heart pounding. That wasn't just a person. She was a spirit. The woods felt even darker now, and the air was thick with an oppressive energy. But then, just as quickly as it had begun, the feeling began to lift. The wind picked up again, and the strange tension in the air began to fade. We need to get out of here, Emily said, her voice trembling. That was no ordinary ghost. The group quickly turned back, retracing their steps toward the cabin. As they neared the clearing, they noticed something strange. The lights in the cabin were flickering, dimming as if struggling against a power that wasn't their own. But when they reached the porch, the lights flickered back on, steady and bright. The unsettling feeling had disappeared, and all that remained was the warmth of the cabin's glow. As they stepped inside, they closed the door behind them, locking it firmly. That was crazy, Jake said, collapsing onto the couch. I don't know what to make of that. That was no ghost, Emily said softly, still shaken. That was a warning. But as the night wore on, no more voices came from the woods, and the wind settled into a peaceful lull. They didn't speak of what had happened, but a strange calm washed over them. They'd faced something in the woods that night, something beyond their understanding. But they had survived. Together. The next morning, they packed up and left the cabin, driving away without looking back. Hollow Hill would remain a mystery, but the four friends had a new bond. One forged through fear, and perhaps a little bit of wonder. Whatever they had encountered in the woods, it hadn't claimed them. They were safe.